Well, this case is very upsetting and very sad, and I thought we would take a look at it, do a little bit of a deep dive forensically, and see what we can find out. Thanks so much, because we are all here. Hello, everyone. I am Lady Zelda with the House of Zelda and Seeing Crime, and tonight, which is Sunday, January 4th of 2026, this is the first official reading on this channel. Welcome to each and every one of you. I'd like to invite you to like and subscribe if you please will. This is a reading on a young lady by the name of Sarah Grace Patrick. She has been accused, allegedly, of giving a ticket to paradise to her mother and stepfather. There are some intricacies about this case that I'm just not sure of. She's being held in solitary confinement in Carroll County, Georgia, and has been for a long time because they can't put her in Gen Pop. But tomorrow, Monday, January 5th, begins her trial. Now, I saw a hearing in her bail hearing. And quite frankly, I'm just going to say this. I like her attorneys. I mean, they were spot on. And I like the judge, in all fairness. So we'll see what's happening. But this is forensic. It's not going to be anything formal. That means I'm not going to use her birthday. I know it, but I'm not going to use, so you don't have to feel like you have to put it in the chat, because I'm not going to use it anyway. I want to read the energy of this case, and maybe her mother will come through. Maybe her stepfather will come through. There's a lot of emotion wrapped around this. Let's see what comes out. I'm not here to judge, so I just want you to know I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not law enforcement. I am a tarot profiler. I am a seer and a psychic. So let's get started. I've got 3 decks of cards. You've not seen this one for a long, long, long time. A cartomancy. This is by Elephant Playing Card Company. Very nice, very beautiful. That is what one of the, let me see if I can show it here a little better. There you go. That's one of the jokers. There is another one in here. We'll see if it comes out. But you see, these are beautiful cards. So we're just going to see what happens. This is a Piotnik deck. Now, I'm going to put these out, and I'm just going to ask if there's anything that we are to know about this particular case. What do you want us to see about this case, about Miss Sarah? I know she's got to be nervous and thinking, bless her heart. And I would say that about anybody, because I'm certain that the night before you have a big case that will determine the rest of your life. She's only 16. And it's a very sad situation. Okay, so let's go. And I'm not prejudging here. Everyone has a right to a free trial, and I'm just not going to judge. So I want to see what's going on. Out first, we have the King of Wands, we have the King of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. Let me see. Clarify the Page of Cups for me. I'm sorry, I keep hitting my fingernails here. Please clarify the Page of Cups. Please clarify the Page of Cups for me. All right, here we go. Okay. Now I would like, there are 2 that fell, and I was going to say for this particular card, okay, we're going to give that, well here, we're going to leave that one out, the Temperance card. Also the sign of Sagittarius. This is a sign of Taurus, and we have a Capricorn out on the table. just give me a minute, because forensically I like to not go card by card. Just want to maybe see what else that we can get here. This is the Piotnik deck, 36 cards written in 6 languages. Okay. What I'm getting here is that the prosecution better get creative. They're going to come out feeling like they've got enough to form a case around her. They're going to open some doors that I think that are not going to be, I don't want to say appropriate, but may get shut down. They're going to use messages, it looks like, against Sarah, but they have some things that feel like they are hidden, if I can say that. More not so much hidden, but a mystery. Obviously, they're going to pound a money situation. They're going to use this, I'm going to say against her, but I don't see where they're going to be able to make any root on this. The only other problem that I see is that she is in Georgia. Depending upon the jury, that concerns me only because she's in a southern state and they handle crimes like this involving children. And yes, she is a child. She's not an adult yet, but they are treating her as an adult, trying her as an adult. There's something about the marriage of her mother and stepfather. And I'm wondering if they're going to be trying to, you see, there's some details about that marriage that is coming up, and I want to ask what those are. Because there was a new beginning here, a wipe the slate clean. There was tradition, there was that role play of that marriage, and yet, and this right here is Sarah. Sarah took the brunt of some, it looks like, emotional situation. And I'm going to go a little further into this investigation. There's something about a particular law enforcement officer that doesn't feel right. I don't know if they're going to be able to bring that up or not, but the Ace of Swords to the Ace of Cups, this is going to be communication that is going to be very emotional. There's going to be conversation from one particular law enforcement agent, or not agent, but officer. I think there's going to be some anger around this. Now, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but this Devil card, which actually is a Baphomet, but okay. You see these two people right here? They are chained to a box that this Baphomet is sitting on. This Baphomet is mocking the Magician card, as in, as above, so is below. You can see here that she's got a chain around her neck, and he's got a chain around his neck. But interestingly enough, the chains around their necks are not tight. They can get out of a situation at any time. What I'm talking about here is this is a card that can talk about overindulgence. I'm going to say it that way. It can talk about addiction, overly focused, maybe even abuse. I'm going to say it that way. Maybe even a situation I'm trying to find the words here, that Sarah felt bound to. Now, that doesn't mean that she did anything or that she didn't do anything. But that is going to be a factor that comes out. Because this fellow here, this Hierophant, he is all about overcoming trials. And especially when they are emotional. You see this little fellow in that cup? That is the spirit animal for this Page of Cups. That's the water sign. But even though it's a declaration of a message coming, it doesn't mean that the message is positive. So as her trial goes on, be prepared. This Temperance card, which is Sagittarius, I believe that it was during the Sagittarian time frame, which was in the middle to the end of December of 2022. Not the end of, pardon me, the middle, not the middle, toward the end of November, coming into December. There we go. Up until about the 21st or 22nd of December, balance was required in this case. And the defense got a little feather in their cap because of it. What does that mean, a feather in their cap? Well, it means an accomplishment. I'm going to say it this way. This is definitely going to be striding off into a new beginning. Doesn't mean that's positive either. I think you're going to be hearing about animals for some reason. You're going to be hearing about rising above. This card is all about wiping a slate clean and starting over. And I think that was the issue behind giving the parents, I don't like to say steps because I think that there are not steps, but I understand that. So I'm going to say it based on this. The mother and her husband giving them tickets to paradise. You see, there's a certain loyalty that goes along with this. And the loyalty also transcends into this card. And this card is all about, sometimes people gravitate when you're in this card to law enforcement and to loyalty. And then we have a law enforcement officer over here. I don't know. I'm wondering about this guy. But you see, there's a particular, it says fidelity here. There's a certain loyalty. A fidelity can also be in that marriage. I'm going to say that marriage affected Sarah Grace more than you and I know right now. And that is going to come out. I don't like to talk about marriages. Don't like to talk about people's private. In this particular case, it's going to come out. And I think that there is a lot of things that are hidden. Plus, you're going to hear a lot about, we have this, you see, the high priestess and the Hierophant are the counterparts of each other, both spiritual in their own way. But this young gal, she's traditionally spiritual. And what you're going to hear about this traditional spiritual part of this reading, or in this case, is that you see she's got the cross around her neck, she's holding the Torah on her lap, and all water come from the robes of the high priestess. Now there's more about her than meets the eye, but this high priestess card indicates there's a traditional belief system that is within this family. I think you're going to hear about that as well. I watched, I believe, Attorney Melanie Little a long time ago with this particular case. I can't even remember what it was. But I know that tomorrow starts the trial part of it. So there's some things that are going to be looking out for. But I'm going to say there's anger sprinkled within the family and sprinkled within this case that you're also going to hear. Truly a divide within families. Okay, give me information here on this officer. Tell me about this officer. What is up with this officer? A partnership with a female and a fulfillment of getting information. Could it be a female personally? This is a new beginning. Can also be a pregnancy card. You might want to just erase that one. Put it on the shelf. Don't know about that. Frustrated about a particular situation. And especially, see, Sarah hasn't shown up yet. She just shows up as this card. There are two women that show up here. One that shows like he's in a tight bond with someone. And then there is someone indirectly. That's interesting. I want to ask about the marriage. Now, I'm not going to ask about who did it. If that comes up, I'm going to tell you. I don't believe now is the time unless it starts coming up. A definite gamble. I like to turn these types of cards right side up. This is a card that is a winter timing card that marries along with this Ace of Swords. Now that's interesting that comes up, but I'm going to tell you what, I think that the prosecution is going to bring some things out that are and can be risky to their case. They, from my understanding, are saying that they have a plethora of information. Based on what I'm seeing, and this card right here, I don't believe so. They are going to be gambling with some things. And I also believe, see, this is an indication of perhaps talk of a separation between the mother, and not that it makes any difference. The reason I'm saying all this is because I believe there were some situations there that were not. In fact, I think even a confession based on what I'm seeing. What I do want to ask is any involvement, misfortune certainly is. Thief. There's the judge. Now, I don't believe money doesn't have anything to do with the judge. And I like the judge, but I think the judge is going to raise his eyebrows. But here is money and the household. And we've got a thief card here. Did someone come in that was visiting that knew the parents? I think there's something else here that goes behind the scenes because it looks like somebody took off. I'm just going to say that. Somebody that knows something is beat feet and run, cut and run, as I like to say. See, that's about the marriage there. Oh boy, this is a pretzel, my friends. This is a pretzel. I think especially the stepdad was looking for hope. And you see, we've got this pastor. I do know that there was a pastor that testified in the bond hearing. Give a couple more cards here. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Justice card, which is also the sign of Libra. But you see, this is telling me right now that you and I, my friends, are going to need a lot of discernment in this case. I feel I know what's going on right now. I'm just, there's liability that goes along with those things. But I will tell you this. I feel that someone left. Someone left. Sarah stayed behind. That says a lot for some things. But we are going to need to use this judgment card. You see, I like to call it the power of discernment. We need to keep an open mind while listening at this, and we need to use the power of discernment. And this is the zodiac sign of Cancer. I'm going to tell you, I think Sarah had been pulled in two different directions as far as family is concerned. Does Sarah know more than what I think Sarah knows some things. And I also feel that there's going to be, she's made a choice. She's made some choices in this case. Will it hurt her? I don't believe so. I think that we may have to hold our breath a little bit. But this case, or this card rather, the Six of Pentacles, it's all about give and take, but it's a balance. And you see, we've gotten, well, of course, the Temperance card, which was a balance. But you see, we have the scale of justice there, those beautiful legal scales. And then we have the scales here, telling us, continuing to tell us that the scales of justice will prevail in this. However, this is going to be a minute. This is going to be a minute. Some doors are going to open in this case, and it's all going to come out. But I want to know who left, who knows, who cut and run. So let's see. Let's see. What about Sarah's boyfriend? Let's see what's going on. Someone knows something here. I'm just going to say I think the prosecution, based on what I see here, does not have a very strong case against Sarah. But we are in the South with her. And sometimes that can lead to decisions that may not even be correct. We've seen that before. So I want to thank you for being here. We will all watch. I will continue to read on this case. Thank you so much. And I'm wishing you all a wonderful, good year. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe. Here we go, my darlings. Doesn't matter what. Cases don't stop, do they? Big hugs to you, and bye for now.